There are few names in military history as instantly recognizable as the King Tiger, a tank feared by Allied crews, admired by historians, and cemented in gaming culture as a mechanical apex predator. But recently, something surprising happened. War Thunder, one of the biggest military vehicle games in the world, is changing the King Tiger's name. At first glance, this might seem trivial, just a name swap in a digital database. But behind that simple change lies a deeper story. A story of historical accuracy, decades of misunderstanding, and one of the most persistent myths in armored warfare. Today, we're diving into why Gaijin is renaming the King Tiger, the real history behind the legendary tank, and how a single mistranslated word shaped popular culture for more than 70 years. This is the forgotten truth behind the Tiger II, and why War Thunder is finally correcting a mistake that's older than the game itself. To understand why this matters, we need to go back to 1943, as Germany searched desperately for a way to counter the Soviet T-34 and the KV-1. Their answer was a super-heavy successor to the Tiger I, the Panzerkampfwagen Tiger Ausf B, commonly known today as the King Tiger. But that name, it was never official. It never even existed in German military documentation. The Germans called it Königstiger, but not King Tiger. The literal translation is Bengal Tiger. In German zoological terms, Königstiger refers specifically to the royal tiger, meaning the Bengal variety. It does not mean the king of tigers. It simply means Bengal tiger. But Allied soldiers during World War II didn't have German zoology textbooks. To them, König looked like king, and the mistranslation stuck. By late 1944, Allied intelligence reports were already calling the Tiger II the King Tiger. Movies adopted the name, books repeated it, games embraced it. What began as a misunderstanding became one of the most iconic titles in military history. So when people hear King Tiger, they imagine a monstrous throne-like tank towering over the battlefield. But the German designers weren't thinking about a royal title. They were thinking about a Bengal tiger. Powerful, elusive, beautifully lethal. That's what Königstiger truly meant. After the war, Allied historians began publishing technical evaluations of German armor. These documents, often rushed, sometimes poorly translated, solidified the English-speaking world's understanding of Nazi armored vehicles. And the Tiger II, thanks to its intimidating silhouette and extraordinary combat statistics, became legendary almost overnight. Authors preferred the name King Tiger because it sounded dramatic. Newspapers loved the flair. Even the Smithsonian used the mistranslation for decades. By the 1990s, when early PC war games emerged, Panzer Commander, Close Combat, and Steel Panthers, they all embraced King Tiger. Then came the 2000s and the boom of online armor forums. Players debated endlessly. Was the King Tiger the greatest tank of World War II? Was it overrated, untouchable, a mechanical nightmare? The name anchored itself deeper into popular culture than the tank's actual specifications, overshadowing the fact that the German army never used this English nickname at all. Fast forward to today, and millions of War Thunder players have grown up calling the Tiger II the King Tiger, never knowing the truth. So the big question is, why change it now? What suddenly made Gaijin revisit a 70-year-old mistranslation? War Thunder is more than a game. It's a living database of historical vehicles. Every patch brings new documents, new archival discoveries, and new arguments about realism. And Gaijin's developers have faced criticism for years from military historians, insisting that the term King Tiger was simply not historically correct. Players submitted archival resources, forum debates grew heated. The War Thunder wiki team released corrections. Finally, in an update announcement, Gaijin confirmed the Tiger II will now be listed under its correct name, Tiger II Königstiger. No more King Tiger. No more mistranslation. But here's the twist. This isn't just a historical correction. It's a cultural one. War Thunder has millions of players. Changing the name affects guides, videos, fan wikis, tournaments, and even the way new players perceive German armor. It's a shift away from cinema-inspired terminology towards academic accuracy. But why does this matter? Why correct a tiny detail in a free-to-play game? Because in a world where misinformation spreads quickly, small historical corrections add up, especially when millions of players rely on War Thunder as their first exposure to World War II armored vehicles. Now that we've untangled the name, let's talk about the machine itself. The Königstiger was a technological leap for its time. Armor: front glacis 150 millimeters at 50 degrees, effectively immune to most Allied guns. Turret face 180 millimeters, lower glacis 120 millimeters. This wasn't a tank, it was a moving fortress. Firepower: the tank's main weapon, the 8.8 centimeter KWK-43L71, one of the most lethal anti-tank guns ever mounted on a World War II vehicle. It could penetrate a Sherman at over 2 kilometers, well before the Sherman crew even knew they were spotted. Mobility: despite weighing 69 tons, the Königstiger's Maybach HL230 engine pushed it to around 41 kilometers an hour on roads. But in rough terrain, the story changed. High fuel consumption, overstressed drivetrain, transmission failures, heavy maintenance requirements. The tank was deadly, but only when it worked. Comparison to other tanks. Versus the Tiger I, superior armor, superior gun, far more expensive, far less reliable. Versus the Panther. Panther had better mobility. The Königstiger had unmatched armor. Both suffered from reliability issues due to rushed production. Versus the Allied Sherman or T-34. They weren't even in the same category. The Königstiger was overkill, designed for long-range domination, not fast maneuver warfare. In War Thunder, its role reflects this perfectly. Deadly at range, slow to reposition. Devastating in ambush, punishing when exposed. The tank's real legacy was defined not by speed, but by presence. And ironically, the legend of the King Tiger often overshadowed the reality of the Königstiger's battlefield limitations. When Gaijin updates a vehicle's armor or reload rates, players notice, but the name? That's symbolic. This change represents something bigger, a push towards real historical accuracy, a correction of a long-standing cultural myth, and a reminder that even famous stories can be wrong. It's also a sign of growing historical maturity within gaming communities. As players demand more realism, developers respond by refining not just the physics or the models, but the history itself. And for many players, this will be their first time learning that the King Tiger was never real. It's a myth created by mistranslation and kept alive by popular culture. Now, thanks to one simple update, millions will finally know the truth. The Königstiger, one of the most feared tanks of World War II, earned its reputation through firepower, armor, and battlefield dominance. But its most famous title was a mistake. A single mistranslation created a myth that lasted nearly 80 years, shaping generations of historians, filmmakers, and gamers. War Thunder's decision to correct the name isn't just a patch note. It's a reminder of how fragile history can be, how easily myths take root, and how important it is to look beyond the legends and rediscover the truth. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the real history behind the Tiger II, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Tell us, do you prefer the original nickname King Tiger, or is Königstiger the better, more accurate title? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.